Yo, what's rocking, everybody? This KYREN Monteiro, y'all, on the KYREN Monteiro Show. Episode number 8. Had to bring the homie back, Ronald Morrell Jr. Round of applause, man. This is episode 8, and this is Take the Step, part 2. Had the big homie on episode 1, and he dropped some gems, and we need to dive into a whole nother sector of that. First off, Ron, what's happening, man?
Man, you know, it's just another day, man. God has woke us up. It's sun shining. I'm just happy to be here, man.
Happy to be here. That's what's going on, man. You had a big announcement today. Obviously, when this episode drops, it's gonna be a little further than today. But what was that announcement that dropped today, man?
Man, so the announcement is I'll be running for mayor of Marion, Indiana. Come out and vote in the primary election, May 2023. I'm looking forward to doing all I can to serve Marion in the best way possible. So I appreciate your support.
And look, y'all, I don't even rock with politics like that, but I support the homie. I don't necessarily identify with a party, but I identify with people, and real recognize real. And the homie's vision is for the city is gonna be dope. When he wins, he'll be the first black mayor in Marion history. Also the first youngest mayor. Man, let's round of applause for propheticness.
Hey, man, I like that word "win," man. We like to speak that into existence.
We don't lose, dog.
Hey, man.
We don't lose, man. So, Ron, on the first episode, man, congrats to all your success and everything you got going on with the politics. If y'all want to know how he came up, go watch episode 1. But what I want to recap from episode 1, you zeroed in on entrepreneurship and being a business owner, and you own several businesses. But the one I really want to zero in is on Morel Scooters, because I think it's a lot of lessons for young entrepreneurs in our city and abroad that can apply to that. So 2019, you started your biggest company to date, which is Morel Scooters. And rather people know this or not, contrary to popular belief, you started that from zero. I think the reason I say that is because you come from a family of entrepreneurship. I think people may think that there's some kind like you didn't build it up from the ground, like something was just handed. That ain't the truth. So give us that background story from how it all started all the way up until now, and then we'll go further.
Yeah. So we gotta let the people know what Morel Scooters is first, because everybody might not be aware.
For sure.
So Morel Scooters is an e-scooter rental company in the space of micromobility, and we're focusing on providing fun and affordable transportation for everyone. So right now, as we're set up, we're focusing on from 0 to 2 miles. So you can ride your e-scooters from 0 to 2 miles. You download the app on your phone. You enter your information. Put your credit card, debit card information, then you scan the QR code, and then you are charged by the minute or how long you decide to ride. And that's where the company started off with its inception. Now our next level is to be able to kind of transition to a larger base in micromobility, and we just added some e-bikes. So now where the scooters are really meant for, 0 to 2 miles, the e-bikes take over and meant from 2 to 5 miles. So now we're kind of expanding our range, but still underneath the micro mobility aspect. So that's what the company is. So how I started this company, my wife and I, shout out to my wife, we were in Nashville, Tennessee in 2018 on our 1-year anniversary. And we were walking, and the South is really hot, man. I sweat a lot. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I sweat a whole lot. And we were going out on a date that night, and 5 minutes into the walk, my whole outfit is just drenched. You know what I mean? And then finally, I look up and I see people riding past me on scooters. And at first, it was like 5 to 10 scooters, and then eventually, I look up, and there's hundreds of people riding these things around downtown Nashville, Tennessee. So finally, I stopped someone. I said, man, how are you guys doing this? What's the process? He just said, download the app, and just took off, right? So, that didn't help me really. So when I went and found a scooter, and the instructions were listed on there and telling you what to do. So we scanned it and started riding, man. And it was so fun that we ended up canceling all the plans we had for the night and just rode scooters all around Nashville, Tennessee. So from that experience, I came back home to Marion, Indiana, and I was like, man, what can I do to bring that big city fun aspect to small town Indiana? Because what's so interesting is a lot of times small town Indiana, or just any small town in the Midwest, gets overlooked for big innovations and big changes like that, or if they do happen, they're like 15 or 20 years too late. So I wanted to try to bring, especially with all the stuff we have available here today, social media, we should never be that late on stuff like that, because we can see stuff going on. So I wanted to try to bring those big city ideas to small town. So the purpose of Morel Scooters is to be able to serve small town in Indiana. So every city in Indiana with 40,000 and under people, I want to try to have Morel Scooters in your location. So right now we're in 5 cities, and I want to touch every city that's 40,000 and under. So that's the backstory of Morel Scooters and how that happened. So now, when I was first starting this, man, what's interesting about this business is it was so new. So it's not like real estate. It's not like any other long-term proven business. So when I was going out to financial institutions in hopes to find capital to start the business, everybody was saying no. Because I mean, it's not, like I said, it's not something that you can't check and look up what the numbers are, et cetera, et cetera. So everybody I checked with, man, it was like, no, can't give you any money for this. No, we can't give you any money for that, et cetera. So what I ended up doing, man, I had a couple credit cards, man, with about a max of $3,500 each at the time, and I maxed both of them out, and I bought the scooters, bought 6 of them. Started off with 6. And started off in Marion with 6 scooters, but now we're in, like I said, 5 cities with 75 scooters and 10 e-bikes on the way. So that's the inception of it, man. So it really starts with that. I think we spoke about in part 1 is taking that step, man. When people weren't believing in it, you got to take that step and believe in yourself when people can't see your vision. Because I truly believe that God gives you a vision. That's like, my brother here, KYREN, wears glasses and I wear contacts. If I put my contacts in KYREN's eyes, he's not going to be able to see.
Sure ain't.
You know what I'm saying? His the vision, or vice versa. If I put his glasses on, I'm not going to be able to see. So each and every person has a specific vision that God has given them. And when you try to tell that to other people, they don't understand. So when God gives you something, you have to move on it. You can't worry about what people say, what people think, because if you talk to enough people, they'll talk you out of what God has told you to do. And
that's boy, you just said a whole lot. That's a whole lot of facts. I want to double back. Just because I obviously we real close friends, so I know the story. Mm-hmm. So with you taking them credit cards, matching out Morel Scooters, you started with 6, right?
Yeah.
So, but you found ways to grow your company. Like, talk about that, because you grew it quick. So talk about some of them ways, whether you had investors, whether you found ways to to finesse and just use your brain power.
So in any system like this, man, you gotta be able to think. So when you're an entrepreneur, especially starting a small business, your back is always against the wall. So you got to think and operate like your back is against the wall. And one thing I tell people is you have to believe in yourself and talk confidently. Because if you don't believe in yourself, then I mean, no investor, no banker, no anyone's going to believe in what you're saying. And one thing for me, I believe in the whole well-rounded experience and presentation. So if you want to ask for money, you got to look like money. If you want to ask for money, you got to talk like you know what you're going to do with the money. So if you show yourself having that experience, or just having that confidence, if you don't even have the experience yet, you have that confidence, say, this is the plan, this is what I'm going to do. So then people are comfortable with giving money to people who they feel like they know what we'll do with it. Yeah. So you have to make people believe in you. So I mean, I've been fortunate to talk to a few people, and I told them the vision, and they wanted to jump on with it. And then so that means, and long story short, it's everyone you talk to, man, is a potential investor. You don't know who you're talking to, who might have some extra money sitting around who wants to invest and grow your business. So you always got to be professional, look professional, talk professional, and I mean, just be ready to give your elevator pitch at all times. You know what I mean? Somebody asked me about, Morel Scooters. I say we're a micro mobility company looking to serve every city in Indiana, 40,000 and under, 40,000 and under. Boom. I mean, off the top of my head. Then they asked me another question, you got to be able to answer. So it's like, really, one of my good friends, and I think he's an upcoming guest on the show as well, Trent told me that you got to know your numbers. If you don't know your numbers, then you don't know your business, man. So everything about your business, you must know. I mean, so for me, I've been challenged multiple times to have every aspect of my business down. I mean, from how much a scooter is making per day, per minute, per, you know what I mean, per city, every single thing down to a science, to where you can have that answer ready at all times. And there's still so much for me to learn, but I've made like huge leaps and bounds. And so I know that was a big excerpt, but out of that, you have to know. You have to be confident in what you're saying and present that to other people confidently.
No, I think that needs to be said, because people don't know. So when you first started, people didn't believe in it.
No, that's just the facts behind it. I mean, now looking back, I can see why. I mean, that's crazy, right? You telling me you're gonna bring, essentially, it's a toy. You telling me you're gonna bring toys to a small city in Marion and people are gonna ride them and pay money through an app? It sounds so out of this world that if that, like I said, if that's not your vision, most people will be like, no, that's crazy. Like, no, nobody's gonna do that. You know what I mean?
But the point of it is that you took the step and then you
right.
didn't give up.
Right.
So imagine looking back. Think if you would have operated out of fear and never did it, and somebody else did it and made it happen. How would it have made you feel?
I'd have been sick, man. So, and then that's the thing, man. When God, like, again, going back to this, when God gives you a vision, you got to move on it. And I kind of briefly jumped over this earlier. Is everybody always wants to talk to 1,000 people before they make the move that God told them to make. So if God clearly told you to, build a brand new building, and you go ask 25 people, I mean, some people are going to say, nah, it's a bad idea. And then you're going to get yourself talked out of what God told you to do. There's no sense in, you don't have to get a whole bunch of extra affirmations. If God clearly spoke to you and told you, this is the vision I have for you, move forward, you don't got to go ask 25 people. Now, I mean, obviously you might have a real trusted spiritual mentor, somebody you look to that you can speak with about things, but there's no sense to asking a whole bunch of people. When God gave you a clear vision, move on it, and he always will provide. I mean, it's been, again, as a small business entrepreneur, my back is against the wall a whole bunch of times, but every single time God has always provided. So you got to have that faith to willing to move forward and step out.
What are some steps, just some general steps, you would give to somebody wanting to start a business that you could give yourself 2 years ago when you were starting? Like, what's some game that you can tell some people? Man,
stop thinking so much, man, because people get stuck in this thing I like to call paralysis analysis. They want to overanalyze every single thing. So now, mind you, this is not me saying don't have a plan and don't know where you're going. I'm saying stop thinking so much. When you get to overanalyzing things, you'll be paralyzed and not make any moves. So obviously the traditional stuff, of course, make a business plan, do all those traditional steps, but don't be scared to jump out. Because again, entrepreneurship is not it's a hands-on learning experience, right? So like, here's an example. I can teach you every day for 6 months in a book how to swim. We can have classes for 3 hours a day. This is how you swim. This is every single technique of swimming. But now I throw you in that water, all that's out the window. You know what I mean? You got to get in there and swim. So you can have all the knowledge about swimming in the world, but until you get into that water, actually got to start kicking your feet and moving your arms, it's not going to make sense. And that's the same thing I like to think of for entrepreneurship. You can study it. You can study every business plan. You can study all the successful entrepreneurs, read all their books, which I encourage you to do all that kind of stuff. But until you get out there in that water, you really don't understand what it's like.
Experience is the best teacher, man, out of all of it. You said something that I feel like here in the city of Marion, Indiana, we haven't developed this culture. In order to get money, you got to look like money, right? Yeah. And as African Americans, we learned this from rap, right? Yeah. I think hip hop is like the biggest thing we've seen of looking like money. So when you got cities like Atlanta, when you got cities like Houston, Charlotte, and different cities where they look elite, they look like what they make. Here, you know, sometimes we're all on different levels, but we can get accused of being flashy or whatever. Like, explain to entrepreneurs like the importance of walking in a room and just having that vibe and catching that attention. That's important.
I mean, for me, this is just speaking from my experience. Every room that I've stepped in, and I move like I own the space and dress like I own the space. So for me, I believe I create the standard whatever room I go in. So if I walk into a place and I'm the only one with a suit on, the standard is now you better have on a suit. So I create the standard wherever I'm at. So that presentation, people really look to that. I mean, a first impression is something special, man. But for me, every time I see you, I get a chance to make a first impression again. So I always want to try to make sure that I look presentable. I've been working on this as well. I always had this tendency to talk really fast and mumble my words together. But now I'm trying to slow down and speak clearly so people can understand, because that's a part of the presentation as well. So how you look, how you speak, I mean, all those things, how organized you are when you start presenting, all those things play a huge part into entrepreneurs. I mean, so no matter what level, what you're trying to do, presentation truly matters. And I mean, that's just for better or for worse, that's just how the world works.
I got a couple more questions, man, and then we can wrap up. First off, I don't think people realize you being able to scale businesses from zero. You didn't buy a business, and that's not saying that if you bought an existing business that something's wrong with that, but you started from nothing and build up something. Let's translate that into politics real quick. That's important for you running as a mayor, being able to run the city, because the city of Marion is a business.
Right.
The United States is the United States of America Incorporated, right? So it's your family is a business. Your personal life, like everybody should run sectors of their life like a business. So your business experience, your leadership experience in the last, really your whole life, but especially since 2020, like why is that so instrumental and so vital to you being like the perfect candidate for the mayor of Marion?
You have to have drive. And when you have drive, people that's contagious, right? If you present yourself like, I'm motivated, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do whatever it takes. I tell people all the time, how many nights I stayed up all night chasing scooters? How many nights I stayed up, on the event center as well, how many nights I stayed up all night laying the floors and doing all this kind of stuff. It's a drive that nothing can change. Nothing can stop that. And everybody, some people want that, but everybody doesn't have that, you know what I mean, to push to that next level. So for me, as a politician running for the mayor of Marion, Indiana, that's that same drive I want to push in this position. So, whether it's going out and meeting with other businesses to get them to come into town, nobody's going to work harder than me. Or whether it's in the election process where I'm knocking on doors, if whoever else is knocking on the door, I'm knocking on 3. If somebody else is having a meeting, I'm having 4 of them. If somebody else is shaking hands, I'm shaking 10. So everything is always working hard. I truly believe that America rewards hard work, and I believe God rewards hard work. The Bible says, "The seeking you shall find, knocking the door shall be open." Both of those situations start with an action on our part, right? Seek, that's a verb. You got to go out and do something. Knock, that's obviously a verb as well. You got to do it. So God is always there, but He rewards that hard work.
For sure, man. Man, we got a hand clap to that, to that game, man. We're gonna get away from the heavy stuff. I know very much, like myself, you love jewelry. Yeah. Right. Mm-hmm. I would love to see a creative culture of around here and being innovative of watch culture. That would be dope to build that up, man. What's some of your favorite watches? And when you shopping for a watch, because you got a Rollie, you got a Breitling, I know you got a collection. I'm more of a Boulevard kind of man, the way my bank account set up. So, but like when you shopping for a watch, because you got them in different price ranges, what make you say that's the one?
Man, I gotta have a watch for every kind of situation. I gotta have a watch if I'm just trying to be subtle and professional, but I also gotta have a watch if I'm trying to say bang. You know what I mean? Like, here I am. So I kind of look for watches based off occasion first. Like, what am I trying? What am I Is this going to be a daily wear watch? Is this going to be a formal wear watch? Is this going to be a street clothes watch? What's it going to be? So then that narrows it down. Then I'm looking for obviously price range, because how my bank account set up is I can't go buy a whole bunch of APs, so I gotta cut that out. So then price range. And then after that, I'm looking for function. Right. Me personally, I'm not a big fan of manual watches. Truthfully, all the watches I buy have been quartz, right? Because I just don't have the time to be winding watches and doing all the other kind of stuff.
That's a lot.
So
I usually, too much.
So even the Rolex I have and even the Breitling I have are both quartz watches, and I really don't want that extra responsibility of having to make sure I wind watches and doing all that kind of stuff. I'll just take it to the watch person and get the battery changed out when necessary. So that's the next thing. So I look for the movement of the watch. So I usually try to stay in the quartz range, and then I look for like the Breitling I have is a chronograph, and then the Rolex I have is a date just, right? So then I start looking for the movements and then what they do, and then lastly, just do I like the watch? You know what I mean? So how does it look on my wrist? How does it make me feel? Is it accomplishing the things that I wanted to do? So those are kind of my criteria. The
dope thing about jewelry is that everything don't appreciate. So if you got for y'all that don't know these brands that we talking about, go look them up. So with an AP, that's an Audemars Piguet. You got Rolexes, you got Breitlings, you got Patek Philippe's. There's all kind of different brands. So on some of these things, Richard Milles, they appreciate, but everything don't appreciate. But one thing I think that's dope, even thinking of jewelry from a business, is you always can sell it for something. Yeah. You may lose your money,
right?
But if you get in a hard crunch, you still can.
Yeah, you can get some money back.
You can get some money back.
But so I'm not knee deep in the game yet where I really understand the resale market of it. Like obviously, especially right now because there's not a lot of new Rolexes available. So if you're able to get one at retail, like actual MSRP, you gonna make all kind of money on them. So yeah, man, I hope to get knee deep in. As my bank account grows, I got my big toe in right now. You know what I mean? But as my bank account grows, I'll start getting deeper and deeper into the game because I love it, man. It's really, with watches, there's so much you can do. You can make a statement with it. Obviously, the functionality of it is huge. But it also, I'm a big fashion guy, so it also always adds the cherry on top to whatever outfit you have on.
So I'm gonna put Ryan on spot, man. Ryan seen this when I got this. This the Activa. What this watch say to you, man? What is that?
So when I see this watch, man, it's like, man, I'm in the room and y'all gonna see me because the reflection is hitting my wrist. So no matter if you want to see me or not, if there's lights in here, you're gonna see me. And I really am a big fan of Boulevard too, man. I don't have any Boulevards yet, but I'm gonna add one to my collection sooner or later. But I'm a big fan of this watch, man. And one of these days I'm gonna give me one, 100%.
Yeah, man. Ronnie's watch, the Breitling you got is crazy.
Yeah, man.
That red band is crazy.
That was my introduction into the brand, the level, the top level brand names. And I was super nervous making the purchase, man. But when I got it, I really was able to understand the quality and why that brand is what it is. So with this watch it's essentially it's a diver. I can't remember the exact reference number right now, but it's a Breitling Coat chronograph, which is, I think it's A738188 or something like that for the reference number. But you can dive like 200 feet and the watch is still working, no issues. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of stuff like that. And then it also has that ability to keep time in different time zones, which I don't know how to work any of that stuff, you know what I'm saying? But I know it can do it, but yeah, so each watch, man, really has all kind of, the watch game is crazy.
And you said you could dive with it, right?
Yeah, dive.
So people don't understand, my bad to cut you off, but people don't realize there's a difference between water resistance and then diving. This is water resistance, but if I dive in the ocean with this, it's over with.
Yeah, it's over, right. Yeah. So man, so the watch game is so crazy, man. I'm a super beginner in it, man. I'm just really just trying to get into it and really understand what it is. But I'm into it because it's fun. I like watches, you know what I mean? Like I said, you can make a statement with them and they go with your outfits well. And they also have some really cool functionalities. And I mean, maybe as I get older, man, I really get into the manuals and the winding and all that kind of stuff. But right now, man, with my schedule set up, I don't got time to be thinking about that I want to watch. You know what I mean? So
my pastor got like over 100 watches.
That's crazy, man.
But that's they say that you ain't a real watch collector until you get like 20. So I only got a few. So I guess I ain't a real one yet. But I just ain't been thinking about it. But anyways, man, round of applause for my guy. Don't be shocked if y'all see this man on here a few more times, but I appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule, man. Yeah. Anything else you want to say to the city and the bride, man?
Man, I just want everyone to know, and Marion specifically, I love each and every one of you, and I'm looking forward to having your support and doing all that I can to serve you as the best mayor of Marion, Indiana. Thank you so much for your support and all my endeavors thus far, and I'm looking forward to continuing to make Marion and this community a better place. And for anyone watching across the world, I mean, check me out on all my socials, Instagram, Facebook. Where else am I on? I'm on TikTok now too. I mean, I finally downloaded TikTok. I've been home for a couple weeks because I had a newborn, and I'm getting bored. So I mean, let me start doing some TikTok content, right? So I got a TikTok. So follow me in all them spots. You can go to my website, ronaldmorelljr.org, and check me out on all those things. I'll have KYREN put those in the show notes. So
yeah, we'll put it in the description. And yeah, congrats to you and your wife on your new baby girl, man. And as far as TikTok, I'm gonna just say this. I'm scared to start because it seemed addictive.
It's very much so addicting, man. Like I get to the point now where I'll just be driving, scrolling TikTok, bro. Real bad habit, and I got to get out of it. But man, TikTok is very addicting. But also TikTok can give you a lot of information and a lot of game. Man, it depends on what you like and what you do. Your algorithm will start feeding you different kind of things. So
it seemed like YouTube of short videos.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
It seemed equivalent to that. So hey, man, y'all support my brother. He's a great candidate as a mayor for Marion in 2023. We've had some people who have been less than. I say that. And so if they got some votes to get in there, y'all can support my brother. And once again, I don't identify with any political party. I don't get my hands in it. But when somebody real, you gotta respect real. My brother is real, and he the right one for the city, and we're gonna stand behind him. So once again, brother, appreciate you. Take the step, man. Don't be scared. If you don't take that step, how you gonna know? Tell her end out with that. That's 0 to 1, and you say it's infinite. Go ahead and repeat that one more time.
There's an infinite amount of numbers between 0 and 1. So if you start overanalyzing, you'll be at 0.1 million and some change. But after you make that first step, everything else start rolling. Think of it like the snowball effect. You gotta make the ball and push it first. Then after that, thing needs to roll and roll and roll. So don't be scared. Take your first step, no matter if that's a business, a relationship, a ministry, whatever you're doing next. Let this be your encouragement to take that first step. Don't be scared. Don't be worried about what anyone else says. Take that first step, and I believe that God will 100% support you every single time.
All right, man. If y'all want to go watch episode 1 or Take the Step part 1, go watch it. This is episode 8, Take the Step part 2. Appreciate y'all. We out.